Hi everyone, this is Purvi with FamTyme Talk, and I have Shawn. How do I say your last name?
Menchion.
Menchion. That's a good thing I asked because I don't want to butcher it.
That's all right.
And he's here to talk to us in regards to his experience in terms of parenting and everyday issues with family and perspective from the Air Force. And Shawn, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, how do I pronounce your first name? Is it Purvi?
Yes, exactly. That's right.
Okay. Okay. All
Thank you.
right.
Can you just give us a little bit background about what you do?
Yes. I'm a Air Force chaplain, a senior Air Force chaplain now, Lieutenant Colonel. And I've been an Air Force chaplain for 20 years. Getting ready to retire from the Air Force and move back to Florida as a civilian. Many great experiences in the Air Force, many tough experiences, wartime related. But I love serving my country and serving for folks like yourself, Purvi.
Oh, and we genuinely appreciate your service and your hard work for, protecting us the way you guys do. So thank you from all of us. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that. So Shawn and I have been connected through LinkedIn for a while. And, he's such an avid supporter and always engaging in my content. So I genuinely, appreciate you. And we finally got on a call and we're like, let's really see, let's take this connection offline and see, get to know one another and what our passions are and what we're working on. So tell me a little bit. I know you had mentioned that you are working on a podcast that you'd like to do. Do you want to share a little bit about it?
Well, again, I'm not exactly sure when it's coming, but it's coming in the near future. And it's based off of a program I've been doing for the last 6 years entitled Feeding the Soul. And the purpose for this program is to provide healing and wholeness and connection to folks through storytelling. And the next one coming up is in September, the 27th and 28th, at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. And I'll have three speakers, Ken and Shar McGinnis, who are great friends of mine, Air Force officers, going to share their story. Great couple, but share some of their relationship stories to help connect with those who may be struggling in their marital relationships or personal relationships. And then also Miss Tony Bubb, who is like all over LinkedIn and everything else. She's
Mm.
going to be another speaker. So we're going to have those folks speak on Friday night, the 27th. And then the 28th, we're going to have three workshops that tie into the storytelling so that folks can benefit in other areas of their personal lives. And so it's going to be a great event.
Wow.
Yes, only 35 people. There's only seats for 35 people. And so it's free. Everything's paid for, meals included. It just, you just show up. And so we did that. I did that because of my budget, but also to see if there's additional interest.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of my past guests have been. My first guest was Miss Scarlett Lewis, who her son was killed in the Sandy Hook massacre.
Oh my, wow.
Yes, yes, and so she has a great program called Choose Love, and it is a program based off of words that her son left on their chalkboard the morning of the massacre. And so, man, she is a phenomenal woman. And then after following her was Miss Diane Gray, who was the president of the Elizabeth Kubler-Ross Foundation. Her son, she nursed her son up until his death through a rare genetic disease. And then my sister-in-law, Kimberly Menchion, I had her come, and she's an attorney in Tallahassee, Florida, who shared about her experience having gone, her parents having gone through a divorce with her and her brother at a young age.
Wow.
And so various topics, but certainly connected with, oh my gosh, tons of military folks who experience some of the same things, and that's and it just gotten great reviews, and so it's something that I've continued because of the great feedback I've gotten from folks
Sounds
who've
like
attended.
sounds like an amazing event. I wish you all the success with it.
Thank you.
So I wanted to know that I know you said you downloaded FamTyme,
I
and
did.
what piqued your interest about it?
Well, because, well, to be honest, first, I thought it was the app that we would use to talk. And so, and so, so I went on and I said, oh, this is an app that engages parents and kids. I said, cool, and so I have a 13-year-old. I'm a divorcee. And right now my son is with his mom until I transition back to Florida, and then he'll come back to me full time. And so one of the things that her and I talked about was, the impact of our divorce on him, because he was 5 years old, and kids, they want their parents together, and he and I had a conversation, and I just shared with him that we'll always be friends. I said, I love your mom to death. I'll do anything for her, except we're just not going to get back together as a couple. And so I believe he's struggling with that. And so we've had him in counseling. And so I think it's time to get him back into counseling so that, he can really begin to come to grips with, where we are. And so, again, I don't expect him to ever get over that. But I do want to see him thrive and see that, appreciate that mom and dad are happy where they are, and move on with his life, so that he's not bogged down with that. So,
Right.
so where your app comes in is, it is hopefully will help us be able to communicate better, since he's more into the digital age.
Wow. Yeah, divorce is definitely one of the things that can really impact a child in terms of the separation and how to properly just accept the whole situation and realize that mom and dad are not together anymore, and now you have to go into two different houses, and
Exactly.
it's a big change for kids, and to be able to help and guide them and show them that, this happens, and make it as easy as possible for them to realize, we can still be cohesive and still, love each other and be there for one another in different ways.
Right,
So,
exactly,
and I
exactly.
also remember you saying how different the technology era is for these kids, because so much of what you probably grew up with is completely different with what they're growing up. Can you tell me
Yeah.
some of the challenges that you face as a parent in this era and raising kids and with technology?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, my son's a basketball player, and so YouTube.
Mm.
These guys he's always watching YouTube. I mean, he walks around the house watching YouTube. It's always, Shacked in a Fool, which I love, and other basketball videos, AAU videos. And so I don't mind that until it, becomes like an all day thing, and it's like, okay, well, you have chores to do, we have to eat dinner, we do need to talk, and talk about our day, and outside of watching YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a battle to manage, his time, and then wanting to teach him how to manage his time because, again, he could just sit there all day and watch videos and nothing get accomplished. And I'm like, you can't go to college like that, you know. The work's not going to get done for you.
Right.
And so now what we've done is we've put the little monitor on each of our phones, and so
Mm.
he's always picking up my phone. Dad, you were on longer than me, and all this, and so we
I
have,
love that. So now
yeah.
he's keeping you in check.
Exactly. I'm thinking like, hey, this is supposed to be a one-way street here. But
No. Kids always do they don't always follow what you say, but they follow what you do.
yeah, exactly. So it's all good. It's all good. And so I'm learning, that hey, this is the mode that these guys are learning on, and he's very proficient on technology, very talented. So it is. It's a matter of just making sure we take time, quality time for each other, uh,
Mhm.
to spend together. So
So I've also seen a lot of studies where they say that the usage of phones and social media has created a lot of loneliness epidemic for teens.
mhm.
And I was wondering, how do you help your son to become more social, not just on social media, but outside of that?
Yes, well, participating in sports, religious activities, volunteering. Uh, Definitely make sure that he's engaged with other kids, other adults, as much as possible because you know, everyone, especially kids, needs that community support. You know,
Hmm.
they need to know that community is there, and so that's what we do.
Nice. Yeah, those are all important things just to get them outside and being
Mhm.
around other people and building,
Yes,
creating that community environment and volunteering. I think that's something that more kids should be like doing and being taught on how to give selflessly. It's such a
exactly.
valuable thing for them to learn. So
That's true.
that's
That's true.
amazing. So I'm curious, like, how do you think an app like FamTyme could help more kids in terms of expressing themselves and helping parents create that better bond of communication?
Well, hadn't gotten a chance to really look at it, but I'll
Mm.
take a look at it right now. Take the gum out, and so it looks like you know from my vantage point, FamTime uh, uh, allows parent and child to engage one another. And then, if correct me if I'm wrong, but there's one can earn gold coins for interactions and so forth. So there's a reward,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think that's especially dealing with kids and young adults is if they're getting something
Yeah.
for doing it, then they'll be more likely to do it. And
Right.
so my son, oh my gosh, hey, I'll give you $10. Oh, Dad, I'm on it. I'm on it. And so it's like,
Some
oh,
sort of incentive, right?
exactly. And so that's what I believe your app does is it provides us as parents incentives. Well, provides the kids incentives, but it also provides us a means of providing those incentives for more engagement and
Mm-hmm.
time spent with one another. So, man, again, I think your app is amazing, and I am going to put it to work ASAP.
I would love to hear your feedback once you and your son are able to use it because the goal is I think there's a couple of different things that FamTime can help many families with is
Uh-huh.
a one to help kids become better aware of their inner thoughts, their inner world, and how they're experiencing their days at school and at home, what sort of impacts that they're having. So that way it's not just stuck in their head, but because once you release it, it allows them to kind of find some solutions towards a problem. And it's a great way for parents to be aware of these things that a child may be experiencing that they may not always know, because the kids may not always be talking about that stuff. But it's in the back of their head, like, oh, my teacher said I'm not good at this. And it really impacts their self-esteem and their ability to do something. But you have no idea that that's impacting them.
Exactly. And I tell you what, I'll do another thing for you is I have a huge family, and a lot of my family members, especially nephews, nieces, they have kids. And so I think this would be a great app for them to have as well. So I'm going to encourage my family members and friends to download your app and to use it and engage with it. And then I don't know, is there, do you receive feedback in your website, or your email, or how would you want to receive feedback?
So directly in the app, there's an option for to send feedback on there.
Okay.
And they can it'll come to an email and we'll receive it, or they can leave reviews. So that way that also helps us in terms of getting more people aware of the app. And if there's any issues or anything that they come across, they can always go to the support button, and we'll be able to help them immediately. So yes, if you can spread the word and get the message out there in terms of how FamTyme can help enhance and boost that connection between parents and kids, because I truly believe like the most fundamental period for kids is the time that they spend at home and at school. And if parents are able to get in on the inside and understand what's going on and help create that open and honest communication with a child where they can freely express themselves, then kids are going to grow up in a happy, more stable environment.
I agree 100%.
Awesome. So do you have any tips that you can recommend to our parents in terms of raising a teenager?
Oh my gosh. Wow. For most people who have more than one kid, if they make a mistake, they have a second opportunity. I don't. This is my one and only son. And so I am learning as I go. But one book that I plan to get is I believe it's Stephen Covey's or maybe his son's book, 7 Highly Effective Habits for Teens or whatever. But anyway, so I would recommend that book first and foremost, but then also just engaging with your teenager. All of us were there. We never wanted to, if something was going on, we just kept it to ourselves, and then if we didn't get it out, it came out in other ways, sometimes that were not positive. And so what I do is I press my son to share, what's going on, talk about, things that are affecting you. And so he's become better at that. And he's become more open and engaging. And so my parents were not like that. They grew up in an era where you just dealt with it, and so which was not healthy for me. But I chose to do differently with my son, and so I press him. And so I would encourage parents, hey, don't ask them, and then when they say, oh, nothing, then you just no, don't let them off the hook. Well, If there's nothing, tell me about your day. Engage them and have them engage back. They may not understand or appreciate it at the time, but somewhere down the line, they'll say, I'm glad mom and dad did that because
Mm-hmm.
now I have a teenager I have to engage with, so.
Mm-hmm. And the lines of communication will help them in any other relationships in a sense, and how to effectively express themselves and deal with
Yes,
problems, because those are like so critical in life in terms of how they are able to deal with difficult people, difficult situations,
yes,
and
yes, yes. Yeah, and then
communication.
exactly, and then communicate through ways that they like to communicate. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes we'll go outside and throw the football, and then we'll start talking while throwing the football,
Mm-hmm.
or on the basketball court.
Love that.
So places where he likes to be, or he likes to play, Xbox. So he beats the crap out of me in 2K19, but we're able to have a conversation. So
Yeah.
so I'll take that any day. Any opportunities I can to communicate him on his level where he is. I
Mm-hmm.
don't always want it to be about me and where I am, but where he is, and so gives him a safe space to communicate and have fun, and I will be able to get more out of him.
Oh my God, that is amazing, because that's so important to meet people where they're at, not where we're at.
Right.
And, great tips in terms of going out, throwing the ball, and you're doing an activity. So it's not like so much pressure. Tell me about what's going on or something,
Mhm.
and it's a free flowing type of environment where not too much stress or anything like that. So
Exactly.
thank you for that amazing feedback. I think a lot of parents will find that very, very helpful.
Cool.
And
I hope so.
can you tell me, if people want to reach you, where they can connect with you?
Oh, sure. Oh, LinkedIn, of course. Shawn Menchion. My email is shawn.menchion@gmail.com. And oh, Facebook, you can reach me on Facebook as well. So be happy to share any tips that I have, or just say hi.
Wonderful.
Be
And
here.
also, I do have a Facebook group if you wanted to join. It's called
Sure.
Raising Kids That Are Mentally Strong and Emotionally Intelligent.
Uh,
So feel free to
awesome.
join the community and get in on the conversation, because I think when we can all work together and help, as many families, the better we're all going to be.
I agree. Yeah. So I don't know if we're friends, but we'll be friends, and yeah, I'd be happy to join.
Definitely. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you and all the
You're
wonderful
welcome.
wisdom you've given us.
Thank you.